Good morning to all. I am Chetan Gaikwad from RSM Protecting Mechanical Department. Today we are going to study the steam power plant or thermal power plant. Okay. Now today's lecture we will study the different definition of steam power plant, components of system of thermal power plant, general layout of thermal power plant, and its working advantages and disadvantages of thermal power plant. In the figure you can see the steam power plant. Steam power plants are producing about half of the total power requirement in India. In a steam power plant, water is heated using thermal energy, turns into steam and spins a turbine. Energy to produce a mechanical energy is converted into electric energy in a generator. It is basically working on Rankine cycle. Energy and the steam is condensed in a condenser and recycled to where it was heated. This is known as Rankine cycle. What are the advantages of steam basically? Steam can be raised quickly from water which is available in plenty. It does not react with the material of the equipment used in power plants. Then it is stable in all temperatures. Stable in all temperatures required in the plant. Now we'll see the components and systems of thermal power plant. Boiler and furnace, coal and fuel handling system, ash and dust handling system, draught system, high pressure boiler, steam turbine and generator, condenser and cooling tower, feed water purification plant, different assets like economizer, superheater, air preheater to increase thermal efficiency of the plant. Now we will study the general layout of a thermal power plant. General layout of thermal consists of first is the coal and ash circuit, air and gas circuit, feed water and steam flow circuit and cooling water circuit. First we will study Basically, we will study the coal and fuel circuit. In this circuit, the coal from the storage is fed to the boiler through the coal handling equipment for generation of steam or polarized coal as a fuel. The fuel is required in large quantities, which necessitates a fuel handling system. Usually, belt conveyors or bucket elevators are used as handling the fuel. Now, next system is called as the ash handling system. The ash produced by combustion of coal in a steam power plant amounts to about 10% to 20% of the fuel burnt. This should be removed from the furnace and disposed. This is done by a proper ash handling system. Depending upon the capacity system used may be a mechanical, hydraulic and pneumatic or steam jet type. This selection is based on the quantity of ash to be handled and the type of boiler used. Now next circuit is called as the air and fuel gas circuit. Atmospheric air is supplied to the combustion of the fuel in the combustion chamber called furnace of the boiler. Either by forced draught or induced draught, which force the flue gases from the furnace pass over boiler tubes and superheater tubes, and then the flue gases passes through the economizer to heat the feed water through the furnace boiler system. The dust from the air is removed before supplying to the combustion chamber. The exhaust gases carrying sufficient quantity of heat and are passed through the air preheater, where the exhaust gases reject heat to air. The preheated air is supplied to the furnace to aid the combustion of fuel. Then the exhaust gases pass through dust collector, where most of the dust is there in the chimney. It increases the rate of combustion, so efficiency of plant increases. Now we study the next circuit is the feed water and steam circuit. It consists of feed pump, economizer, boiler drum, superheater, turbine, condenser, etc. Feed water is pumped into the economizer through the hot well. This water is preheated by the flue gases in the economizer. The steam generated in the boiler is passed through the superheater. It is superheated by the flue gases. The superheated steam is then expanded in steam turbine to develop electrical power. The steam coming out of prime mover is condensed in the condenser and then recirculated in the circuit. Some of the steam and water is lost while passing through different components. So feed water is supplied from the external source, and this feed water passed through the purifying plant, reduces the dissolved salts and avoids the scaling of the boiler tubes or boiler shell. Next circuit is called as the cooling water circuit. The circuit includes a pump, condenser, cooling tower, etc. The exhaust steam from the turbine is condensed in the condenser. The quantity of cooling water required to condense the steam is large and is taken from river, a lake or pond. In the condenser, cold water is circulated to condense the steam into water. The steam is condensed by losing its latent heat to the circulating cold water. Thus, the circulating water is heated. This hot water is taken into the cooling water tower. In cooling towers, the water is spread in the form of droplets to nozzles. The atmospheric air enters the cooling tower and from the openings provided at the bottom of the tower. The air removes the heat from the water. Cool water is collected in a pond known as cooling pond. The cold water is recirculated to the pump, condenser and cooling tower. Thus, the cycle is repeated again and again. Okay, this is called as open system. Now we'll study the working of the thermal power plant. The steam is generated in the boiler of thermal power plant using the heat of the fuel burned in the combustion chamber. This steam is passed through the steam turbine where it expands and the part of its thermal energy is converted into mechanical energy. The turbine shaft is coupled with generator which converts mechanical energy into electrical energy. The steam coming out of steam turbine is condensed in a condenser and the condenser is supplied back to the boiler with the help of feed pump with some makeup feed water and cycle is repeated. So these are certain workings of a thermal power plant. Now we'll study the advantages and disadvantages of thermal power plant. First we'll study the advantages of thermal power plant. Less setup, repair and maintenance cost is low. Life of the plant is about 25-30 years as compared to other power plants. Unskilled operators can operate the plant. The construction cost of plant decreases with the increase in unit capacity. It is not directly related to nature, climate conditions like hydro power plant. Next advantage is that there are no transmission losses since they are located near load centers. Suitable for varying load conditions. Less land is required. Now disadvantages of this thermal power plant is the ash handling is a big problem. It creates a large amount of ash. Fuel transportation, handling and storage charges are more. Cooling water required is more. Storage space required for fuel is more. Amount of cooling water required is more. Operation cost is high. Cycle efficiency is only 35 to 40%. It continuously generates smoke which contributes in increase in pollution. So these are certain advantages and disadvantages and working of the thermal power plant. So in this way we end the lecture.